Hello guys, how's it going? My name is Dal. Patch 9.2 is getting released very soon, and this major content update brings back tier sets, double legendaries, and many class changes. And all of these combined together create for very powerful class spec combinations. As Blizzard spends the last few weeks tuning our favorite playstyles, some of the more overwhelming combinations are getting tuned down by quite a lot. But these recent nerfs hasn't stopped the community from coming up with even more creative and powerful builds that have a lot of potential in the patch 9.2. So I wanted to highlight 4 class spec combinations that hold a lot of potential on the patch 9.2 PTR that, if left untouched, could be massive in the next update. But right before we take a look at these classes, most of you guys watching these videos are still not subscribed. However, the more of you I remind, the more of you do. So let's keep it going. Subscribe to the channel as well as hit the bell if you're watching these videos anyway, especially if you want to see more content, updates, and guides for patch 9.2 as well as future WoW expansion announcements. The first class on this list will be potentially a permanent elemental playstyle for Elemental Shaman. The Eli Shami tier set focuses on 2 things. One is lava burst damage, and second, prolonging the uptime on your active elemental. Because the tier set focuses on lava burst damage, the Necrolord Covenant with their legendary ends up the most synergetic combination. And if we want to play more into our perma elemental output, we could also run the Skybreaker's legendary for more elemental cooldown reduction. Some players have tried it out with Ascendance to buff the duration of elemental to be as long as humanly possible, and even though Ascendance isn't a common talent used by shamans, it is actually quite useful when trying to put this build together. But what really lays down the groundwork is running Storm Elemental instead of the normal Fire Ele. When played with the Storm Elemental, every time you Lightning Bolt or Chain Lightning, the cast time of those abilities goes down. With every single Lightning Bolt and Chain Lightning, you build up stacks until you can rapid fire them back to back. Altogether, it is possible to have a huge lava burst spam opener, extending the duration of your Storm Elemental, then slowly building up towards the faster cast lightning bolts as you get into your filler gameplay after your burst is over. After your Storm Elemental sticks around long enough, eventually it will want to fade away. The cooldown is gonna catch up with you. But because of the cooldown reduction on the Storm Elemental ability itself, you can chain from one Ele into the next, keeping your Lightning Bolt Elemental buff. And let's not forget, the Storm Elemental is permanently there, so you're looking at extra pet damage that normally would be gone after your burst. This is definitely a very ambitious build of Elemental Shaman that needs far more testing. On paper, all of these elements work. In practice, it is possible to do it. I think you might need very specific stats and gear and maybe very specific boss fight situations in order to be able to pull this off. But if you can do it, this could be huge in the patch 9.2. Another playstyle that I haven't seen Blizzard touch at all is the Destruction Rain of Fire build. Your tier set 2-piece bonus focuses on giving you more procs of Rain of Fire and Chaos Bolts as an instant cast that doesn't cost any soul shards. Every time you do burn off one of those procs, you summon a Blasphemy, which is kind of like an Infernal of sorts. As far as I can tell, there's no difference, it's just purple, so a grape flavored Infernal that still generates you soul shards and burns enemies up around it. If you play the Rain of Fire talent and you're hitting enough enemies where Rain of Fire refunds back its soul shards, and if you get lucky with other talents that also focus on soul shard refund, you might be able to chain back-to-back Rain of Fire, which will eventually let you get a free Rain of Fire from your tier set, which will spawn a Blasphemy, which gives you even more resources that you could spend on even more Rains of Fire. Because the Blasphemy counts as an Infernal, conduits as well as talents that synergize with Infernal gameplay are also encouraged. And because you're spending a lot of soul shards, you might as well play the Wolfred's legendary to summon even more Infernals, which prolongs the cycle of spending soul shards, summoning Infernals, building soul shards, and it goes on and on. So if your tank in Mythic Plus dungeons can pull big enough, you can blast unholy cascade of fire upon your foes over in the patch 9.2. Definitely one of the easier combinations once you get things rolling, but still super satisfying and super fun when you're watching all of these different class elements like tier sets, legendaries, talents, and more just working all together. The third class on this list will be the Demon Hunter. Their tier set allows them more uses of Metamorphosis. It cuts down Metamorphosis from a 4-minute cooldown roughly to a 3-minute cooldown, so most players won't see immediately that they're able to use the Metamorphosis more often, but in a Mythic Plus dungeon or in a raid, that is going to be more uses of your powerful class ability. If you play your Demon Hunter as a Venthyr, the Venthyr legendary allows your I-beams to extend the duration of your Sinful Brand. And already with certain legendaries, Demon Hunters have discovered that Sinful Brand can become a perma-dot build. But that's not where things get interesting, because in this build, we're going to try to make it as a perma-dot build, but also almost a perma-metamorphosis build. Normally, Demon Hunters play Collective Anguish, so they can fire off an I-beam and a Fell Devastation on their target marked by Sinful Brand in order to double dip into the dot extension mechanic. However, some Demon Hunters have discovered that if you play the Dark Glare I-beam build, it is far stronger as long as you're fine with a little bit of RNG. Dark Glare helps out tremendously with the element of this build that's a perma metamorphosis demon form build. If you play the talent of Demonic, you actually get to extend the duration of Metamorphosis by a little bit. The opener will look something like this. Mark the enemy with a Sinful Brand, then spam I-beam as often as the game lets you. Once you can't spam I-beam anymore, Metamorphosis on top of the enemy to reset the cooldown of I-beam, and then spam I-beam again and again and again. And outside of your I-beam spam, you'll run a talent that helps to reduce the cooldown of I-beam, which gives you more opportunity for those resets and more uses. If you get lucky enough, this is a build that plays itself. Perma-dot from Sinful Brand that does incredibly good single target damage, as well as basically full time on Metamorphosis, where inside of your demon form, your Chaos Strikes and Blade Dances are further enhanced with even more damage. It does take a little bit of RNG to land a bunch of I-beams back to back, but honestly, it might be worth the play. With a 40% chance for a reset, those are pretty decent odds heading to the patch 9.2. And finally, it's going to be the Arms Warrior, with their build focusing around permanent Colossus Smash. Your Arms Warrior tier set gives you more damage on Colossus Smash as well as slightly longer duration. And it is possible to run a legendary that allows you to get more procs of Colossus Smash on your primary target. Now, normally Venthyr Arms Warrior is no longer a thing, but for this build you could run Venthyr for those condemns to extend the duration of your Colossus Smash. What also helped me to maintain a permanent Colossus Smash is running Anger Management. Between spamming Mortal Strike and Condemn, you are going to be spending quite a lot of rage. And if both of those abilities can prolong Condemn long enough, you could overlap an existing Condemn with another Warbreaker or Colossus Smash, further extending the duration of that effect. There is a drawback of this playstyle, as the perma Colossus Smash only works when the boss is really healthy at 80% health or above, or crippled if talented at 35 and below. Because of this stipulation, it is very difficult to judge how good this playstyle will be. However, with enough procs, it is possible to build for a very lengthy Colossus Smash from the get-go and maybe have a chain for quite a while. And generally, warriors do the most damage inside of the Colossus Smash window, so a longer window could potentially mean more damage in the long run. Definitely needs more testing, since this build really breaks away from the current Arms Warrior meta, but could be kind of huge over in the patch 9.2. But thank you guys so much for checking out this video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you think about the classes and the builds and combos we listed in today's video. And let me know in the comments if there's some crazy class tier set LEGO combination that we missed that definitely should have been featured in this video. If you guys enjoyed this video or found it informative, go ahead and give it a thumbs up. I would very much appreciate it. As per always, in every single video and every single live stream, in the description, we have a link to our Discord community channel. If you guys are watching the videos regularly, you might as well join the community, join our Discord. Probably the best place to reach me directly. DMs are always open. But thank you guys so much for watching this video. I do hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. And as always, I'll see all of you guys in another one.